Hi there, this is Tony from pianotone.ca. I recently bought a Yamaha P125 digital piano, which is awesome, by the way. And with that purchase, I received a free 3-month subscription to Flowkey, which is one of the more popular apps out there for beginners to learn piano with. So I thought I would take advantage of that and try to work through the app and the course material so I could give you my thoughts on whether this might be a good way to get started on learning the piano. So I've now done that, and here are my thoughts. Now, I didn't want this video to be too long, so what I did is make a first impressions video after only a couple of weeks with Flowkey, and then I made some additional shorter videos that cover 1 or 2 sections at a time as I work through them, and those are pretty in-depth. There are links below to all of those videos, so if you want to do a bit more of a deep dive into all of the course material in Flowkey, as well as how to use Flowkey's song section, then you can check those videos out. In this video, I wanted to keep it a bit more on the short and sweet side and just give you my overall impressions. So overall, I am quite impressed with Flowkey. It does a really good job of introducing the basics of piano to you with a combination of instructional videos, play-along lessons, and song examples that aren't too overwhelming. And one of the best aspects of Flowkey, in my opinion, is that it caters to both the aspiring traditional pianist who wants to learn how to sight read sheet music and play traditional classical piano pieces, as well as the aspiring modern music pianist who wants to learn how to play rock, pop, or country songs from chord charts with possibly a little bit less emphasis on the sight reading. There really are some excellent lessons in Flowkey that cater to people with both of these goals. And a really nice feature here is that you can freely move around and work on any lesson from the course categories whenever you like, as opposed to having to complete lesson A before you move on to lesson B. So as long as you make sure you don't jump into lessons that or topics that you're maybe not ready for, this can be a really nice feature. And for when you want to learn songs, which really is the whole point of learning how to play the piano, Flowkey has a massive database of over 1,500 songs from all sorts of different genres. And for many of those songs, there's going to be easy, medium, and hard versions of them. So that way you can start with the easy ones and then move up to the more complex versions of the song once you're ready. Now, is Flowkey perfect? Well, I don't imagine any training app or course is going to be perfect, but the gripes that I found with Flowkey really are pretty minor and not really that big of a deal. They don't use a metronome or click track on all of their lessons. They only use it on some, which isn't the end of the world. And they do tend to use it on the more advanced lessons, which is probably the more important place to use it if they're not going to use it everywhere, but I would prefer to see it always used. And in the song section, from what I've seen on many of the songs I've searched, is that they don't always tend to include the chord names or a chord chart above the sheet music. They typically have you playing the melody in the right hand. And so if you wanted to play an accompaniment version, if the chords aren't listed, you'll have to look up chords online for the song that you're learning. That being said, that's not really that big of a deal because it's really easy to find chord charts for any song you want for free on the internet. So just a quick tour of the song section. It's broken down into categories by genre, but chances are you probably have a song that you want to just search for, that you want to learn how to play. So you can go to the search functionality and you can type in the name of the song or the name of the artist. And chances are pretty good if it's in Flowkey's database that it might even come up with multiple versions, and each one of these versions is a different skill level, and they're color-coded. So I'm going to pick the green one, which is the easy one. Now the song learning interface has some really cool tools to help you learn songs quickly and efficiently. For example, I can just select a certain section, let's say these first 2 bars, and just work on those. And other things I can do is I can have Flowkey wait for me to play the left hand notes correctly and or the right hand notes correctly, and I can also choose to slow the song down to 50 or 75%. And one of the best features of Flowkey, both in the song learning interface and also in the lessons, is the overhead view of the hands that are showing you proper finger positioning and proper hand positioning. This is something that's really important to learn early on as you learn how to play piano, is how to navigate up and down the keyboard properly. And showing this with actual hands playing the notes in the correct fingering is far better, in my opinion, than the way a lot of the other apps tend to do this by just indicating finger numbers or using some kind of color coding scheme for each finger to indicate which finger you should be using. So now onto the courses section. There are 8 course categories, and within each one of these course categories, you're going to see a number of courses and lessons, and also possibly some videos as well. So there's Introduction to the Piano, playing with both hands, intermediate piano playing, music reading training. Then there's 2 course categories on playing scales, and then there's 2 course categories on chords, mastering chords, and improvising with chords. So as you go through these lessons, you're going to learn basic music theory, basic sight reading, scales, common time signatures, and rhythm. And one thing I did notice is that I think you should work on the course categories in Flowkey in a bit of a different order than they present them. I would highly recommend that you complete Introduction to the Piano first, and then skip over to music reading training and the first couple of scales in the first playing scales category, so C major and A minor. I would highly recommend that you do that before you go back to playing with both hands and intermediate piano playing, because those 2 course categories do introduce some more complex topics that the music reading training and scales is really going to help you with. Then for those interested in playing modern music with chord charts, the 2 course categories on chords have some really good material. The Mastering Chords course category introduces you to some simple basic chords, as well as a very common chord progression in popular music, and introduces you to triads and how to build major and minor chords, and also introduces you to chord inversions. Then one of the highlights of Flowkey in general to me is the Improvising with Chords course category. This course category will introduce you to some accompaniment patterns that will really spice up your playing and allow you to play along with chord charts and kind of make songs your own.
You might have noticed that it's a little monotonous to play chords in the same pattern over and over again. To make a chord accompaniment sound more interesting, changing up the rhythm is crucial. That's why this course is all about different rhythmic patterns which will help you pep up your piano playing.
So they give you a number of different accompaniment patterns that you can start to get familiar with. Then this category also introduces you to some more complex chords like 7th chords, 6th chords, 9th chords, etc. Then the highlight of this section is at the end, when you get to the practicing improvisation section. In this section, they're actually going to provide you with full backing tracks in different pop styles that are common styles. With drums, bass, etc. And you can practice your different rhythm patterns playing along with those. And you can switch your rhythm patterns up and try them all out on all the different examples that they have. So this is a fantastic section. So one of their examples is playing along with a ballad style song. So in this particular example, the first step is to get familiar with the chords. And once you're extremely familiar with the chord progression in the song, then you can start applying the different rhythm patterns that you've learned in this course to the chords, and then see how it sounds, and maybe switch it up, try one of the different rhythm patterns, etc. So this is a fantastic section. So you can use this first just to learn the chords, and then as you get familiar with them, then you can start adding in your different rhythm accompaniment to spice it up. So pricing at the time of this video, there is a free version available. It's limited to only 8 songs and only about 5 out of the 60 lessons, but you can test drive the app a little bit that way. The paid versions, which gives you access to all the courses, all the lessons, and all the songs, currently they have over 1,500. There's a monthly version for $19.99 US. So if you wanted to try it out for a month basically and see if you like it and have access to everything, then you could worry about getting a cheaper subscription after that. Their most popular one is the 12-month one, which is half that price, $9.99 US per month, billed in advance for a 12-month period. And there's a lifetime one, which is $329.99 US, which is just billed once, and then that's good forever. The 12-month one is their most popular, which makes sense to me. Depending what level you're starting at and how much time you are able to devote to practicing could dictate how long the courses might take and whether the lifetime one might be a good option for you or not. I guess the other aspect of the lifetime one would be if you end up really liking their song learning interface, then the lifetime membership gives you lifetime access to additional sheet music and song tutorials without ever having to pay for them. And there are sheet music sites that do charge, $2, $3, $4, $5 for a song. So you could have lifetime free sheet music. So that's something to think about as well. Okay, so those are my thoughts on Flowkey. I think this is a great app for getting started on the piano, whether your goals are more traditional, sight reading and playing classical music, or leaning more towards playing modern chord-based music. There are great lessons in there for both. I've included my affiliate link below to get started with Flowkey, and keep in mind you can try out the free version to see how you like the interface before you have to commit. And if you want to see inside the app in more detail, I've also included links below to all the other more in-depth videos that I made on individual sections of Flowkey. So thanks for checking out the review and have an awesome day. Go check out Flowkey and happy piano playing.